I understand your motives, Edward, but I'd have preferred it if you had run this by me first. Thomas isn't used to goods trains, and he sped down the hill and nearly derailed. Imagine if that was a passenger train.
You're right, sir. I apologize. I should have run this by you first.
It's all right, Edward. For now, I want you to shunt in the yards with Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Edward left to go back to Tidmouth's sheds. In the evening, Gordon and Henry had heard everything. So, Thomas, you leave your coaches behind and you nearly crashed through the buffers on a goods train. Can't you do anything right?
Whatever, Gordon.
What? No retaliation? No fighting back?
Nope. And to answer your question, no. I can't do anything right.
Thomas? No, Edward, I failed. I've not been able to pull trains properly. I'm nothing but a failure.
No, you are not, Thomas.
Well, the tank engine has admitted it. He knows his place in the...
Gordon, that is enough from you. I am sick of your snide comments. Do yourself a favor and mind your own business for once.
The engines were all shocked. They had never heard Edward raise his voice like that before.
Thomas is reliable. Without him, the yards would be in shambles. Your express would never leave on time without Thomas. He may not have the best experience with trucks or coaches yet, but I'm sure he'll become one of the best shunters on Sodor.
The sheds went silent after this. Gordon and Henry went to sleep, but Thomas spoke to Edward.
Thanks, Edward. No problem, Thomas.
The two engines went to sleep. The next morning, Thomas and Edward were up bright and early in the yards.
Ah, what a beautiful morning. Yeah, I guess. Are you still feeling down about what Gordon said?
Yeah, kind of. Hard not to be when you're called a failure.
Remember what I said, Thomas. You're not a failure. You just need practice. Now I'll be in the yards with you today. I'll get the express coaches ready, and you get Henry's goods train ready.
All right, Edward. The two engines got to work. Thomas handled the trucks, and Edward handled the coaches. Thomas worked hard and made sure that all the trains left on time. Edward was very impressed, but he wasn't the only one. It seems like he's making excellent progress.
Indeed he is, sir. The yards have never been cleaner.
I agree. Thomas is proving himself to be a useful engine. The two went silent until Sir Topham Hatt spoke. Say, Edward, I wanted to ask you something.
Go ahead, sir.
As you know, we've been in the process of restoring the Farquhar branch.
Indeed, sir. It's been a very interesting project.
Indeed it has. I wanted to ask you two questions. The second question depends on the answer of the first.
Go ahead.
Edward, would you like to work the branch?
I'm honored that you consider me for that, but...
But what?
Sir, I'm not exactly young. I don't think I could handle the traffic the branch line would have.
I see. Well then, this brings me to my second question. Who do you think should run the branch?
That's a good question. Gordon can't do it, nor Henry. Then the only option is... Hello, Edward. Oh, hello, sir. Didn't see you there.
It's quite all right, Thomas. I was just leaving. Sir Topham Hatt walked away. Thomas looked at Edward. What was that about?
Nothing much. Just the discussions of some plans he has. Now, the next train leaves soon. Have you shunted the coaches for that?
Not yet. I'll get it straight away.
That's a good engine.
Thomas went to shunt the next local train. Right, local coaches. Let's see here. Oof! Thomas looked up. Standing in front of him were two brown coaches. Oh, sorry about that. No, dear, it's fine. I've never seen you two here before. Because we've been replaced. Replaced? Let's start from the beginning. I'm Annie, and the one behind me is my sister Clarabel. Nice to meet you. I'm Thomas. Pleasure to meet you, dear. Now, what did you mean by replaced? We were replaced by those things. What? The express coaches? Yes, dear. We were once express coaches, though as time went on, we became local coaches, then reduced to this siding. Oh dear, that sounds awful. Would you like to be on today's local? Could we? No, Clarabel, we can't. It wouldn't work. We're too old to be on the main line. Oh, well tell you what. When I get a chance, I'll put in a good word for you with Sir Topham Hatt. You would do that? Of course I would. Anyways, I've got to shunt Henry's local now. Take care, you two. Thomas left to get the correct local coaches. In the evening, he was exhausted from the hard work. Phew, today was exhausting.
Well, you made it through today. I'm proud of you, Thomas. The way you handled the yards was spectacular.
Thanks, Edward.
Good evening, engines.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Thomas. I've come to say a few things. First off, good job. You worked very hard in the yards today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now on to some bigger news. I've bought another engine.
The engines were surprised. Another engine, sir?
Yes, Henry. He's from the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway. He's a mixed traffic locomotive, meaning he can handle both passengers and freight.
What's his name, sir?
James.
Well then, we'll be sure to give him a nice welcome.
I know you will, Edward. Anyways, that'll be all for now. Good night, engines.
Sir Topham Hatt walked away and the engines went to sleep. The next morning, Thomas was shunting around the yards when he saw Sir Topham Hatt walk up to him. What's he doing here?
Thomas, I have some news for you.
Ooh, what is it, sir?
A short goods train needs to go to Tidmouth. I want you to take it.
Me, sir? Are you sure?
Yes, I am. You've managed the yards well. You've proven yourself to be a very useful engine. Plus, you're the only engine here right now.
Oh, well, I'll take it right away, sir. Thomas left to go and take the train. Alright, here we go.
Wait, Thomas.
Oh, Edward.
So, you get to pull another goods train.
I do. I'm gonna make sure I don't mess it up this time.
I'm confident you won't.
Thanks, Edward.
However, there is something else I wanted to talk to you about.
Go ahead.
Well, Sir Topham Hatt had...
Come along, Thomas, let's get this train to Tidmouth. But driver! Nope, come along, we're going. Ugh, fine. I'll talk to you later, Edward.
Alright, see you later, Thomas. And have a good run.
Thanks, Edward.
Here's James!
Oh, hello there. James, was it? I'm Edward.
Pleasure to meet you, Edward. I must say, Soda is quite beautiful. I'm glad to have the opportunity to work here.
Good to hear it. We need another mixed traffic engine.
Then I'm the engine for the job. Now what needs doing first?
Well, there is a goods train that needs to go to Vickerstown. You could take that.
Alright, let me get turned around, my guy.
What an odd engine.
James got turned around and buffered up to the trucks. Come along, you lot.
Do be careful, James. The trucks are rather old after all.
No need for advice, Edward. I've pulled trucks before.
Well, like I said, these are very...
Now come along. Let me show you how a splendid engine does his job. James set off with the goods train, leaving Edward worried.
That engine will find himself off the rails.
Meanwhile, at Tidmouth, Thomas had dropped off his goods train and was resting in the sheds when he saw a strange object in the sidings. Driver, what's that? That's the breakdown crane. What does it do? When an engine has an accident, it's used to lift said engine back on the rails. It's only used in emergencies. I'm not sure I've ever seen a crash that bad. Who's that? Help! I can't stop! What on earth?
He's a runaway.
But we have to help him. Wait, Thomas! But before his driver could react, Thomas set off after James. Sorry! Come on, slow down, slow down! We're stopping! It's almost over! Wait, that's... Oh no! Are you alright? No. Oh no, what do I do now? Just then, Thomas remembered the breakdown train. That's it! James, I'll be right back, don't go anywhere. Was that a joke? Thomas went to go get the breakdown crane. His driver and fireman explained the situation and the workmen boarded the works unit. Thomas set off to James's crash site. Ugh, if only I didn't have wooden brake blocks. I mean, what sort of workman gives an engine wooden brake blocks anyways? I mean, really? Not as if they didn't know it wouldn't catch fire, but honestly, some people... Ugh, okay, rant end. Now can somebody help me, please? Right, I'm finally here. Man, this thing weighs a few tons. Right, man, let's get to work. What can I do, sir? Take away the non-damaged trucks. Right away, sir. Thomas got to work. He worked hard clearing away the unhurt trucks. The breakdown crane had cleared away most of the mess, and by the time he was finished, James was back on dry rails. Man, it feels good to be on dry rails again. It's Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. No problem, James. Now let's get you back to Knapford.
Thomas and James set off for Knapford. When they arrived, Edward and Sir Topham Hatt were waiting.
Goodness, what happened?
James here had a bit of an accident.
More than just a bit. What happened to you, James?
I may have slightly bumped the trucks.
You should have known better than to bump the trucks. Now you'll have to go to the works. As for you, Thomas, you may go back to the sheds for now. I'll speak to you later.
Okay, sir. What's wrong?
It's nothing. Come on, any engine who looks that depressed has to have something bothering them.
It's just, I'm on thin ice with Sir Topham Hatt.
How do you mean?
I got dragged along by the express, left my coaches behind, and the trucks nearly derailed me, and now I put myself in danger.
Well, it was for a good cause. It could have been much worse if you hadn't rescued me.
I know, but I just earned Sir Topham Hatt's trust back. I feel like I've lost it all over again.
Look, whatever he has to say, it has to be good news, and if it isn't, I'll vouch for you.
You mean it?
Of course I do. You saved my life after all.
Thanks, James.
Thomas went back to the sheds and went to sleep for a bit. When he woke up, all the engines were back at the sheds.
Sorry, Thomas. Did we wake you?
No, you didn't.
Is James? He's alright. Battered and bruised, but still alright.
That's a relief.
After you went to play
Gordon!
Your actions were pretty reckless, you know. You could have ended up off the rails too.
All right, engines, enough berating Thomas. Thomas, you did absolutely incredible today. You were brave, rushing into the danger like that. Or foolish. Your quick thinking allowed a speedy recovery process.
Thank you, sir.
It is those qualities that have led me to make a decision. For those unaware, I've been doing a project. I've been restoring the Farquhar branch. However, I failed to find a suitable engine to run it. Until today. Thomas, would you like to run the Farquhar branch?
Me, sir?
But sir!
Hush, Gordon.
This is such an honor, sir. I don't know what to say.
I know it's quite a shocking offer, but I know you have what it takes to run the branch.
Well, all right, sir. I'll do it.
Wonderful. 3 cheers for Thomas.
Oh, the indignity. However, what will we do for your coaches?
Sir, I know 2 coaches who would be up for the job. Thomas works his branch line with his 2 coaches, Annie and Clarabel. The 3 got along well. Thomas still sees the bigger engines from time to time at Elsbridge. However, this isn't where his tale ends. Indeed, he has quite a few adventures ahead, though I won't say too much, or I'll spoil the next story.